Good morning, everyone. This is Bill with Valor Home Services. We're with Ask the Experts this Saturday morning. We're glad you're here with us. We're going to talk to some folks around the country and talk about some of their projects they've been working on and any questions that may have been submitted to them. So what I'd like to do to start off this morning is go ahead and introduce our guests. We have Rob and Robin from Keller, Texas. Why don't you guys introduce yourself?
I'm Rob Matthews with Signature Home Services. We're a design build company down here in Texas, just between Dallas and Fort Worth. We've been in business for 25 years, and we're a husband and wife team. I'm a certified remodeler, and my wife, she's a registered interior designer.
So I'm Robin Burrell with Signature Home Services, and we are also the only husband and wife certified and registered remodeling professionals here in Texas, or I should say maybe in Tarrant County, but we are the only NARI accredited company in Texas at this point. Hopefully others will join us.
Fantastic, fantastic. And we have also Ann from the Ohio area. Ann?
Hi, good morning, everybody. Ann from Capozzi Design Group here in Chagrin Falls, Ohio. I am third generation in the cabinet industry. I'm a certified kitchen designer through the National Kitchen and Bath Association, as well as CAP certified and CLIPS certified as well. And thank you for having me. Always happy to be here.
Fantastic. And again, my name is Bill Wilson. I'm with Valor Home Services, and we're in the southern Illinois area. It's kind of a suburb, if you will, of St. Louis, even though we're on the metro east side, or the east side of the Mississippi River. And glad to be here. And what I'd like to do is go ahead and get started this morning. We've got a few questions from folks that submitted. And this first one's for you. And folks, apologize. I'm just going to go ahead and read it as it was submitted. It says here, I have a standard tub in a small bathroom, and I'd like to upgrade and leave the tub. What options would I have? I'm also not sure if I want tile on the walls because of maintenance. Are there better or worse options? And Ann, that was for you.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. So I would say if they are looking to upgrade and not change that space, that there are options to have something from a deeper soaking tub to an air tub. So it's the next, I guess, a reversion of a jacuzzi, but it's using air. You can get tubs with light therapy, so you don't have to have a large space really to have a great tub that would provide a spa-like feel. So that's what I would say when it comes to the tub. There's also, again, a lot of variations when it comes to depths, materials. There's a lot of considerations when it comes to replacing that tub to upgrade it. But I would definitely start by looking at what's most important. What do you want out of that tub? How much relaxation are you looking for it to provide? Kind of on what level? So a soaker tub to an air tub to something that would actually even have some variables when it comes to the lighting, which can help relax you. So that's what I would say when it comes to the tub. When it comes to the materials on the wall, so we typically are, does anybody, I guess before I jump off the tub, does anybody else have anything to add when it comes to replacing a tub in a small space?
We do a lot of these, and in fact, we're doing one right now that when you say kind of what type of tub do you want, there's also therapeutic tubs out there for post-injuries. We're doing one of the walk-in tubs where you kind of get in and shut the door behind you, kind of like a small car, and fill it up. So that's going to be kind of a unique situation, but there are, like Ann said, there's so many tubs to choose from. You really need to think about what the purpose of the tub is going to be.
And in this instance too, I think it is what you get what you pay for. meaning, even in doing the research in these tubs, and a lot of people think of these tubs as for old people, but think of it for people with injuries that still want to take a bath, but it's very difficult for them to get in and out of a bathtub. Certainly the elderly are afraid of that, yes, but in this instance, the lady had a severe leg injury. And so she wants to make sure that going forward, she can always get in and out of a bath because she likes a bath over a shower. But things like, what is the base, the structure made out of? Is it, a heavy metal versus something that's softer and less expensive? Or is it fiberglass, acrylic? What is the outside of the tub made of? And is it have 2 sides, 3 sides, 4 sides? How is it made? And so I really think that this is an instance where you get what you pay for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, guys, I actually have a couple of questions. We've talked about a couple of things the last couple of weeks, staying at home and getting healthy, and people are building home offices and home gyms and so forth. So obviously something like this might work for someone who just wants to soak those muscles, right, that they worked out in and so forth. I know there's probably some plumbing considerations when you have those different types of tubs, part of this question was about tiles on the wall. How does the shower, does this lend itself to shower fixtures as well as the tub, or is it just strictly a tub limitation?
Well, I guess it depends. If you're going for this walk-in tub, there is no shower with it.
Unless it's a wet room. Unless you're doing a true wet room.
Yes, unless it is in a wet room. But the other tubs that Anne spoke about, the air tub, the jetted tubs, you could have shower systems with them, and that would work just fine. And I don't think, there's not really any special plumbing. Rob could talk to that. It's more if you go with an air or a jetted tub, if you don't have electricity there currently, you're going to have to get electricity to it.
Or you're going to have to find a place nearby for the air pump.
Right.
Some of these air pumps are separate. We did one last year where we had to actually trench to a wall that separated the bathroom and the closet, and had to put a small box in there to just house the air pump.
Right.
So that was an ordeal, but it worked out very nice.
Yeah, and you've probably run across this instance when you're doing freestanding tubs. Freestanding tubs and lesser soaker tubs provide enormous opportunities.
And challenges sometimes.
That's why I said opportunities.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What was the question?
Oh, I said you probably run into this when you've done freestanding tubs because they provide enormous opportunities to become creative with the air and the jet motors.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So we've had some very interesting situations in trying to really figure out a place to put those pumps. So, and the same thing when it comes to doing steam units, right? In showers.
Yeah.
So we've had some real issues and challenges with those as well. And I think it's really interesting too, even when it comes to those, the tubs that we're talking about, there's such a range in cost when you really consider the material. So you can have something that looks really nice, but may not hold heat as well. So there's really a lot of consideration when it comes to, there are reasons why there's such a wide range of pricing when it comes to those tubs. And I think that's one thing that often gets overlooked is when you truly look at what the material is that tub is made of, and how well will it hold heat, and how easily does it scratch, and is it repairable?
Right, and then does it have, many of them come with heaters for your back. They'll even vibrate now, so you'll have sound therapy. And you're right, it's all in what you're looking for in your bathing experience.
Because she's, the original question was a small bath. Sometimes you can't pack all this stuff into a small bath. But you can get a small bath with a lot of nice features. But when you start talking pumps and jets and all of this, they're probably going to get larger than what they may want.
And then I think this person also asked something about an option other than tile on the walls. And now there are lots of great substrates. Porcelain now comes in very, very large sheets, and it comes very thin that can be fabricated. But again, these newer technologies are going to also have higher prices with them. And, I think that that's, an option too. Anne, have you had any experience with any of these?
Yes, we've done 2 with the porcelain on the walls, which looks terrific. But again, I think, and actually we've done quartz composite as well. So those walls look really, really nice when they're installed, but there are definitely considerations when you even think about, okay, where are we going to put the soap, right? So those things start to become considerations, and what's the look of the overall space? Because I think that this solid wall material can look really nice if it's done in the right application. I think sometimes if it's not in the right application, it can look more utilitarian and not quite as nice.
Agree.
That's what we've found.
Really want to tie it into the shower, really, to really make a nice contrast, or tie it into the vanity countertops or something like that.
Absolutely.
Both of you folks really get involved early on in folks' dreams and project, desires and designs. And obviously me, I'm on the tail end. A lot of those specifications are already made for us. We just have to find the right styles and so forth. Walk us through, if you can, either one of you, on maybe Rob, since you do a lot of the drawings and so forth for your company. How does that process start? I know Anne and Robin and I were kind of talking about this yesterday. I did not set it up this way, just so you know, ladies. But talk about that process for someone that is, they want a new tub, right? And they don't know if it'll fit. We talked about some of the limitations on size and so forth. How does that conversation start? Rob, maybe that's a good question to start with you.
Well, like I said, the conversation would really start on more of the design, the interior designer aspect, like with Anne and Robin, to kind of determine what type of tub they want.
Their desires.
Yeah, their desires. And then on my end, I would be the ones going out to measuring the space, taking photographs and videos, and then telling them, okay, we can put a tub in that's this size. And then they have to go out and do their research and go make selections based on those requirements. If it was, we were messing with the shower also, and we could take a few inches off the shower and add to that bathtub that they found, but it's 3 inches too long, we could do that. But if it's just the bathtub, we're kind of dedicated to that space. There's always, we can maybe turn it on the design, maybe at a 45 or something like that. It just depends on the bathroom, but it all comes back to a good design, what they have now, and then what we can tweak to make it happen.
And I think a big part of it too, and you probably agree with me, is that our clients aren't exposed to the same products, I'll say, that we are. And we have a lot of industry knowledge, and even we can't keep up with what's out there. And that's why we go to our manufacturer reps to educate us. But a big part of our process is educating our clients. Don't you agree?
I totally agree.
That's so every project.
Yeah, I think so much of it is about educating the client. And as you said, it's having those personal relationships with the manufacturer's rep that come directly from the factory, right? From these manufacturers to you, and you get firsthand information. And usually we're the first ones to know, right? So they're really going to the remodelers and designers in the industry in letting us know what's new. I actually had a rep in from one of my cabinet manufacturers a few weeks ago, and he said we were the first company in his territory to see a new door style. And that's always exciting.
We've had something like that too. If you are really involved in education, like most of us are, I think all of us are, we've actually been to factory tours or factory education or from manufacturer and gotten back and called our vendor, said, hey, we're interested in this. And they're like, we don't know what you're talking about. And then they find out, oh, it's not being released for 2 weeks. So we're actually ahead of the game before them. And they're like, wow, you need to come in and kind of tell us about it. So that's why staying up on our education and the knowledge of the materials we use is really important.
And Bill, you probably find that even in what you do, that what you did 20 years ago is not the same thing that you're doing today, because I mean, processes and products just really and truly do get better over time.
Yeah, I kind of smile. Obviously, it kind of depends. Yeah, it kind of depends, right? And what we see in trends is if you did not have something when it first came out new, but you postponed that project, you still want that product that you think is new, right? It may be 5 years old, but it's not new in the industry. It's new to you. So, and we live in the Midwest, and, we're usually a little bit slower to get the newer stuff, or at least those thoughts in our minds and so forth. But, talking about those bathrooms and so forth, one of the things we always consider is the slip resistance of the flooring product that we put in, right? And there are some tiles that are really not rated for bathroom floors. And that's one of the things that, especially with tubs, there's a lot bigger chance of water getting on the floor. So we want to make sure that really for safety purposes, especially if we're doing elderly or aging in place type projects, we want to make sure those things are rated properly for the floor. And that's really the biggest concern we have when we're putting in a floor, is making sure that we meet those standards first and foremost, and then we obviously leave it up to the folks that make things pretty, like Ann and Robin there, to kind of guide us on those selections. Is there anything? Yeah, Robin, go ahead and unmute yourself. And
so I know one of the manufacturers that we deal with, when you were talking about slip resistancy with tiles, they have what they call an R11. Is that consistent across the industry? Is that a typical rating that you would see on the tile that is feels almost like a really light abrasive sandpaper?
Yeah, the terminology is going to be different from manufacturer to manufacturer. Some of them are independently rated, so you have to kind of look and make sure, was it rated by their own company and their own folks, or was it rated? And that's more on the quality side. When it comes to safety, usually it is more of an industry standard. But yes, you can always look to find some rating of that slip resistance or safety rating. And a lot of them specifically spell out not to be used in a bathroom or in a wet area. So
they call it friction
cohesion.
Yeah, or something like
yes.
that.
Yeah.
We did a house where we did the whole house in one tile, and the tile that was selected, it had the same exact tile, but the R11.
Mm-hmm.
So the texture actually changed from in the doorway of the hallway into the bathroom. But if you looked at it, it looked identical. Mm-hmm. So that was really nice.
That's a sign of a good quality tile if there's not changes from manufacturing processes in the look. So if the manufacturing process changes, but the look stays the same, that's a sign usually of a good tile manufacturer. I think, a lot of times folks don't realize that when you start changing intended uses of products, sometimes that changes the look. It might be made in a different factory. It may be made with different products to achieve that overall desire that you're looking for, but it changes the width and the length, the thickness of the tiles and so forth. So definitely want to make sure you get with folks who understand all of that. You're nodding your head. Does that happen to you guys there, Robin?
We just had a job. Matter of fact, I sent y'all the pictures of it where we were actually going to do a polish. It was going to be on a brick pattern in a shower, and it was going to be a polish and a matte and a polish and a matte. And in the tile
Same
industry,
color, but it's just kind of checkerboard, if you will.
And Bill, correct me on my terminology, but in the tile industry, there is what would you say, an acceptable variance. And so if a 12, you can have a tile that says it's 12 by 12, but it could actually be 11 5/8 by 12 7/16 or whatever.
Not that much, but maybe an eighth of an inch under or lower, under or over.
And that's what happened with this tile. The tiles ended up literally being two separate sizes to where we couldn't make it work. I mean, they were off that much. And so, it was. We
just decided to go drop the matte finish and just go with the gloss all the way through. And they actually liked it better when it was all.
So that's very interesting. So the industry manufacturing tolerances that governments allow, right? So they allow the manufacturers not to be perfect. It happens in carpet. Carpet, is supposed to be 12 feet wide. It sometimes and it can go up to 1.5 inches in width variances, and that's due to what you're supposed to be able to stretch, and that's another story. But when it comes to tile, what folks don't realize is it used to be we had wider grout joints. So those variances could be made up, the difference could be made up in a wider grout joint. But as society has changed and their desires have changed, those grout lines people want almost no grout line, right? Very minimal, which requires very talented installers to create that, especially if the tile's not manufactured very well. And if it's not rectified or it's a whole different story when you get into slate and things like that, right? So tolerances in manufacturing processes are super important when it comes to the desired outcome, when you can do that. And sometimes you're limited based on the quality of the tile. Good questions.
Some tile we found that depends. The reason we don't ever use bull noses anymore, the tile bull noses, is we had such of a problem with the bull noses never matched the actual tile, that came with the same name and whatnot. But we found out that some tile, the actual, the main tile was made in one country and the bull noses were made in another country. So they kind of, they both were doing their own thing. Hopefully it met in the middle, and usually it did not.
Yeah, I have a fabricator that if I really need to make sure that it matches, we actually can take the tile to them and they will actually make the bull nose right there for us from the tile.
From a natural stone?
Even from tile, they can polish and put that edge back on there for us. And it's not exactly the same bull nose type. It's more of a bevel, if you will. But if someone really does not want some of the Schluter pieces that we're probably all familiar with, that is, you can still get a tile option if you have someone that can manufacture that. And did you have anything to add to that part of the whole tile design and so forth? Looks like we might have froze up and muted, Ann.
My internet is unstable at this time.
All right, we're
running up on the half hour, and we kind of got off on a tangent, and that sometimes happens with me.
That was a long answer for one question.
Yeah.
That was about a bathtub.
Well, the only thing I don't think we talked about was cabinets in the bathroom and fixtures in that bathroom, but everything else we probably covered. Was there anything that anyone wanted to bring up before we sign off for the day and let folks get back to their Saturday afternoon or evening, wherever they may be?
No, I think that was a good, kind of a good bathtub and tile education. I think that was a good discussion.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, well, let's start with Ann. If you would tell folks how they can reach you if they want to ask you any questions.
Sure. Again, thanks for having me. Sorry about the instability with the internet. I don't know what's happening here this morning. I think there are a lot more people walking around Chagrin Falls today, and that might be what's happening. But you can reach us by reaching out either through our website, or you can find us on all social media channels. You can obviously call the showroom. We are seeing people here at the show. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, we apologize for folks that are wanting to reach out to Ann, but like she said, you can reach her. She's located in Chagrin Falls in Ohio. That's just outside of the Cleveland area. And reach out to her at her website, Capozzi Design Group. That's probably the best place to start. Of course, you can always reach out to us, and we'll put you in touch with her as well. Robin, how do the folks reach you guys?
Well, you can always reach us through our website at signaturehomeservices.com. And then we're both on social media. Our company is on Facebook, Pinterest, Houzz, Insta. We're not doing TikTok. But
We're not doing farmersonly.com or anything like that.
Yeah, and we're on LinkedIn. And then you can also always call us at 817-753-6668. We hope to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, my name is Bill Wilson. I'm with Valor Home Services. If you have any questions about flooring, reach out to us. The best way is just to go through our website, which is valorhomeservices.com. And from there, you can find all the other ways to reach us, whether it be social or by text or even by phone. So with that, I'll go around the room, make sure there's no other comments or questions. And if not, we'll say thanks for joining us on a Saturday morning. We hope that you have a great weekend, and everyone stay healthy and happy. Bye now.
Bye.
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 Have a great day.